a live informal get together. So today we're going to discuss miracle mineral solution. It's called MMS. We're going to simplify what it is and what the argument is, and demystify it as well. And I'm going to provide my own testimony with the chemical. All right, hey guys, it's Monty Royal checking in the sunlight. I don't know if they're going to let this word get out very far, but the controversy is miracle mineral solution. It was created by a guy named Jim Humble. The concept was Jim. He's passed away, but in the early 2000s, about 2008, maybe 2010, I was looking for a cure for like cancer through the internet. I had this feeling. I was like, there's got to be something out there. There's got to be some kind of cure or some kind of development in cancer research that we can find online. And so I just was doing personal research and using the internet as the medium. Nintendo Wii, as a matter of fact. And turns out that I stumbled onto G. Edward Griffin. G. Edward Griffin. He did the book The Creature Behind Jekyll Island, or The Creature from Jekyll Island, which kind of researches the Federal Reserve System and the banking system that the United States adopted during 1933 and we still use today. But G. Edward Griffith also has a book about amygdalin, and he titles it B17. Hey there, it's Monty today. We're talking about miracle mineral solution, a very controversial subject. It's supposed to be a cure-all. I'm just explaining how I got on to discover what it is. And so I found G. Edward Griffin. I've talked about this before on a live stream. And the amygdalin B17, I went down that rabbit hole. And then MMS was another thing that was going on too, around that 2010 area in time. And there's a lot of information. People were uploading it to YouTube. What made it appealing was it was in video form, and so it was easy to comprehend and easy to convey information from person to person. So I found out about MMS through probably YouTube. And anyways, so I learned about it forever. I had no idea what it was. And then one day I just decided to order some citric acid and some sodium chloride. Not sodium chloride. Anyways, we'll get it. That's getting a little too deep into what we're talking about today. But I'm saying Jim Humble found out that he could use water purification drops, kits, tablets, or the liquid kit. Either or works. And he claims to have cured men of malaria fairly quickly with having them drink concentrated water purification. So if a water purification drop was to purify 1 gallon of water, he would do it in 1 cup of water, we'll say. And then they consume that. The story is Jim was out on a gold hiking expedition. He was like the engineer or something on the team, and they were like in South America, I think. And two of their main worker guys got malaria, and he claims that they were like 3-4 days into the jungle, and it would mess up their whole operation if those guys went back sick early. So he got the idea of the water purification, the body's 70% water, whatever, then the water purification should work as well. If it works in water, it should purify the body. He claims that an hour after he administered the doses to them, they were up laughing and eating, and they're able to continue their operation. And so that's Jim Humble's story, origins of the miracle mineral solution, MMS. And so practically it's water purification tablets, like the Boy Scouts have. It's a good idea, and pretty much what that is bleach. And so what I would recommend for anyone struggling with homelessness is to always try to carry a vial of bleach on you, at least, so you can purify water, because water is a super valuable commodity when you just can't go to a fridge or a faucet and get it. If you have to go to a stream or a lake, like a pond of water, it might be dirty, but at least you'll be able to put a little bit of bleach in it. So hopefully that word gets out. It's not the most ideal situation, but the point is, bleach is very dangerous. Sodium chloride is very dangerous, and in at too high of doses, it can do a lot of damage. But saying that, it's also, too much water can kill someone too, So it's all about, you gotta, to really even dive into these things, you really should have like some pretty strong constitution for some chemistry. But pretty much, you don't want to breathe in bleach. That's the really bad one. That will probably contribute to lung failure. And don't drink bleach. I wouldn't recommend it. If you do want to, but then again, liberty is liberty. If someone wants to experiment on themselves, they should be able to. There's still lots of things that our world needs to learn, and if someone, and unfortunately a lot of people have to go, or some people have to die, for everyone else to figure out the do's and don'ts. And so we already know, you don't drink bleach. But, there are practical functions for it. So, the way the MMS does it, they do sodium chloride. And, well, let's get back to Jim Humble and his journey, because the story will kind of help understand the chemicals and what these people experience. So Jim Humble, he got through the gold expedition fairly well, but then he moved on to, so once he understood what he was doing and how things were actually working, he kind of took his show on the road, and he was doing a lot of charity work where he would administer pretty much bleach water to villages in South America, South America and in Africa. All these people had positive malaria tests, and they didn't have any adequate supplies for medicine, treatment of medicine. We got Bill Gates over there. He's working on a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but they've been working on a malaria cure. See, that's a thing too. It's like capitalism doesn't like too many cures, because they like it likes the treatment, that's an argument, because there's no real profit in curing, but there's definitely profit in treating, long-term profit, and that kind of gets into the argument of planned obsolescence. All these concepts are able to, it's a dangerous game, but you can mix these concepts across fields of study, and you kind of, like the great Greek philosophers, they studied all kinds of different things. They studied the physics. It's all similar. It's all kind of one life science. All the science branches we have, they all kind of stem into one branch. And some of the information bobs and weaves within the branches. And so, forgot where we're going with that. So yeah, so Jim Humble, he was in South America, and he was administered in Africa, and he claims he was curing people of malaria by having them drink bleach water. And what they were doing, from I think I read some of his protocols. They're like literature out of his church. Well, see, that's the thing with the whole information thing on MMS. Anyone could just put on a hat and claim that they're a representative and they speak for the whole movement. So that's kind of what happened, and a lot of the extremist, crazy people got out, and you know, I remember seeing one lady on the YouTube like years after Jim Humble passed, and she was like giving enemas to her kids and stuff. I mean, she's probably still out there. I hope the kid's all right. Um, but it was a bleach water, and you know, I don't think that's a good idea. If you really want to drink bleach water, go to a chlorinated pool, and you'll probably get maybe a few mouthfuls, playing around, and similar to the chlorine. And they do treat municipal water supplies with chlorine dioxide, which is a type of a bleach. Um, anyways, I'm getting off board. Sorry, guys. So Jim Humble, he's out there curing people, and he claims that he was getting run out of town after he would cure a bunch of people of their malaria, and he would always get ran out by local governments, local officials, and there's actually a Red Cross footage of Jim's team, or some team using Jim Humble's method to whatever to get negative results on the malaria test. So they were able to get Jim Humble's team. Well, the Red Cross worked with them, and then they took video, they documented the whole thing, and apparently after the video came out and made some controversy, the Red Cross denied it even happening. But that video should be still out there, so if anybody's interested, you can probably check that out. But Jim Humble claims he got ran out of towns in these third world countries. There was a motive to allow the like malaria not to be cured. So that was his thing, and he was kind of, the way he portrayed it, kind of like a cowboy, running in and out, running and gunning, curing people of their disease, and then going on. So what Jim Humble recommended was sodium chlorite, and you can order that offline in powder mineral form, and then you add water to it to make a solution. And so then you have your, pretty much, that's like bleach solution. And then the protocol that Jim was saying, you get the sodium chlorite, and then you get citric acid too, which is easily obtainable. And so you make a solution out of your citric acid, and then you do I forgot the ratios, but yeah, these, like, the ratios are the most deadly factor in all this stuff, and the potency of your chemicals. So, if you're, you know, if you are a hobbyist chemist, just be really careful, because you shouldn't really be dabbling in this unless you kind of are fascinated in the chemistry. But I don't recommend anyone do it. I did some of this stuff, and yeah, the idea is a lot of the people that Jim Humble treated didn't have acid in their stomach. They didn't have bile because they didn't have the nutrition. They were all pretty much like third world starving people. And so that's why Jim would use a citric acid solution with his sodium chlorite, which is pretty much bleach. The citric acid solution is it's an easy obtainable acid that's low in acidity, but still fairly acidic. And so he used citric acid to activate the bleach outside of the body. Because when you mix acid with bleach, also if you mix a bleach with a base with bleach, you get a chemical reaction. And so terrorists use things um, like battery acid, sulfuric acid, and bleach would make a very volatile reaction, and that's what like terrorists use in subways and stuff. Um, so if you use a weaker acid like citric acid or bile in your stomach, it's not going to be that violent of a reaction. But if you add heat to it, then it becomes a violent, pretty fairly much more intense reaction. Um, when you mix sodium chlorite and citric acid together, they're both fairly clear liquids. But when you mix them together, they turn red in small quantities, and they're expelling very dangerous gas too. Once you mix the bleach and the sodium chloride together, it starts to give off chlorine dioxide gas, and the chlorine dioxide gas is that's where the good stuff is. That's where the stuff called hypochloric acid is. And hypochlorous acid is the similar acid that our immune system uses to defend itself. And so there's an argument. So pretty much in a roundabout way, our immune system uses a similar type of chemical to bleach to defend itself. Not the exact same, but not too far off from it. So that's kind of the technical version. The FDA does not recommend any of this information to come out. Oh, hey, what's up? Diddy's paperwork. Oh no, Diddy's paperwork. Baby oil. Transport the driver. Yes, I did transport the baby oil for Diddy. I was a hired hand. That was the only part I played in the Diddy escapades. No, actually, I don't know, man. Who knows anymore? That was a good one. That's friggin' funny. It's so disrespectful. I love it, dude. That was really good. I didn't even know I had some people. Zyre, hey, what's up? That is so good. I'm gonna leave that comment. Yep. And so anyways, yeah, we're just talking about some bleach, and that was the Jim Humble Miracle Mineral Solution story, kind of jumbled up. But give it about 3 years, let it kind of marinate, and maybe it kind of might make sense. All right. But so my testimony is I messed with it a bunch of times. I've treated my dog with it. Like any kind of open wounds with it, particularly. You don't want to drink it. It's just nasty to drink. I've drank it before, and I used to suffer from migraines, like chronic migraines all the time. And then they'd hit, it would be so bad. It would pretty much ruin my day when I'd get a migraine. And after I did the MMS treatment, because I was fascinated in it, I didn't get migraines for a while. I got a lot of backlash. I made some YouTube videos about it back in the day, and I got a lot of backlash about it, or a few comments. But I mean, I'm still standing. I'm alright. It's just hot today out. And so I've made the solution before, and what I've noticed is that it works very well with wounds on the skin. It works well. You can take bleach. I've scrubbed bleach, and it will give you a chemical burn, but it heals up pretty good. You can't even tell that there's a bleach scar. So you shouldn't be afraid of bleach. You should respect it, but you should not fear it. Yeah. So yeah. So I've had a few experience. I've used Miracle Mineral Solution a few times, and I've helped a friend, actually. He wanted me to help him out with something, so he had a chest wound. I don't know if it was a spider bite or something. This guy was like 70 years old when I'm helping him out. I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just kind of a hobbyist. And I was like, hey, let me try something real quick. And he was okay. He was down for it. And so I made some chlorine dioxide solution. I mixed sodium chlorate solution and citric acid. I'm not sure of the ratios I mixed them, but I made the mixture, and he had this thing on his chest that was itching. It looked like a huge scab, like a really big scab. And he said it itched, but when he touched it, it really hurt. And so he could just pour like water on it. And he had something similar to that on his chest before, and the doctors cut it out, and they left a really gnarly scar. And so we went to his lake house, and I made some chlorine dioxide solution, and I treated it, and the thing popped open and started oozing out pus, and instant relief. And so that thing just cleaned up immediately. And the chlorine dioxide solution is like a hyper cleansing solution. I've actually heard that back in the old days it was considered a philosopher's stone, chlorine dioxide or sodium chlorite. I'm not sure if that's correct, but like the fountain of youth, I mean, the fountain of youth was pretty much like a bleach water. And because it was so, like, think about back in the Bronze Age, they didn't really have very defined sciences. So a lot of this stuff was like magic and potions and antidotes and dotes. And so now we've refined the science much more. But yeah, that's the. So I've treated my buddy Charlie, his chest with it. It pussed open with. I used chlorine dioxide solution, and his chest burst open with pus and all kinds of stuff, and he was instantly relieved. And he had some old, some brown spots on his chest because he's just kind of old and he's in the sun for a lot of time. And it just peeled away at those brown spots. They just peeled right away and left bright, healthy pink spots. Anyways, Charlie's doing just fine now. He's about 80, and he's still out kicking it. Last time I heard, he was like throwing a party in a air hangar or something. But yep, he's doing good. And also around the same time, I had a roommate who had a cold sore that was huge. He woke up with it, and it was huge. And so I whipped up some chlorine dioxide solution, and I treated his cold sore and his wound with it. And yeah, he turned out pretty good too. Yeah, I don't recommend anyone do this if but I recommend everyone take liberty on their own. And sometimes if you're crazy enough, you do some kind of dangerous experiments, and hope to God you live through them. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my situation. Definitely, I wouldn't recommend breathing in bleach water. Definitely, that's a quick way to kill your lungs. But bleach is fairly. Say, for instance, if you clean up dog poop or something, you can use all these smelly chemicals, but then it looks fine, but then if you pour some bleach down, you'll probably get a little chemical reaction going right there. Yep. But pretty much, yeah, I just wanted to demystify bleach. There's a lot of so yeah, I know that there's some information going around about bleach right now, and or MMS, miracle solution. So I wanted to jump on and put my 2 cents in, and to let you know that it should not be feared, but it should be respected. And that's like a lot of things in life. Don't fear it, but respect it. Uh, because everything, cars have the, if you abuse a car, you can take your life and someone else's life. If you abuse information, right? Like this could be considered abuse of information right now, me conveying this information freely. Um, but I don't think there's anything wrong with, so yeah, who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'm breaking a law. I hope not. But but yeah, it's just I think that we should all use liberty, and you know, and sometimes yeah, if you're a curious type of fellow and want to invest your time and energy in something, and hopefully you survive and to tell the tale, great, you know. I wouldn't diss anyone or disrespect or laugh at anyone that is exploring different avenues. Well, the point is also it kind of what I kind of really want to wrap this around is that bleach is very accessible and it's very cheap, and it can do a lot of really good things for people. It can sanitize. Sanitizing is not the same as cleaning. Bleach is an antimicrobial and not an antibacterial. Um, Antimicrobials, now there are forms of viruses that are antimicrobial resistant, and I just don't even know how to deal with those. But, you know, bleach is a simple solution. You can go buy like a half gallon at the dollar store. Keep that in your house. You can, if you need to purify water in a pinch, if you got to go run on rainwater, if shit hits the fan, you definitely want a bottle of bleach hanging around your place. A little bit of it. But anyways, I wanted to get on here and I wanted to explain my testimony and my experience with Miracle Mineral Solution, my understanding of it. And now the movement's just gone kind of berserk. And, that's typical. It happens all the time. You start something and then, when you put a movement out there, or it's not even a movement, but an idea, you put an ideal out there, and whenever other people connect to it, they kind of make it their own, and, they can make it kind of extreme too. And doesn't mean that everyone should be lumped in, and, hey, we shouldn't be laughing at anyone that makes a fail. Anyone that fails, don't want to laugh at them. We learn from everything. Yep. Anyways, trying to help out people. That's the main thing. Yeah. So, if anybody hears this message, make sure if you're out helping homeless people, if you can get them maybe a bleach spray bottle, something like that, a miniature spray bottle or some kind of vial. But it's good to have around to keep items sanitized, because or if just living out of a car or just living out of a cabin too, yeah, if you do dishes, you need to sanitize dishes, or any kind of instruments. So yeah, any questions from the crowd? So pretty much, yeah, I just wanted to demystify Miracle Mineral Solution. Respect it, but don't fear it. All right. Thank you. And that's Monty signing off. Check out the whole program, testimony. Have a good day.